Hello and welcome to Toyota GAZOO Racing Hour. My name's Sean Summerfield. Great to have you watching. This weekend we're all set for the finale for the Toyota 86 Series at Hampton Downs. But before we go there, some big news. Confirmation this month that the FIA W Series will use the New Zealand TRS cars for 2 rounds this year.
So the W Series is a championship done for the women in motorsports. That's all female drivers are driving in that championship. That championship has expanded into internationally with a bigger calendar. So they come into some logistic issues just to be able to have the cars ready on all the circuits. So part of it, we're helping the W Series by sending our cars for 2 rounds. So we do the round in Spain and the round in Japan at the end of the year. So we're just helping them for their logistic. So we're sending the cars there, and the girls will have the opportunity just to drive the car with a Toyota engine. The rest of the season they're driving exactly the same chassis but with an Alfa Romeo engine into it. So we're tuning the car here just to get the cars ready and in all compliant with the FIA homologation for the W Series.
And we look forward to seeing those TRS cars return to New Zealand tracks next summer. Now, the 2022 Toyota 86 Championship has been a thriller, and it all winds up this weekend at Hampton Downs. The penultimate round, though, was at Taupo, and it saw plenty of action and a change in the top 3.
Near perfect race conditions greeted the 86 Championship for race 1 at Taupo, led by the poleman Zach Stitchbury, the rookie getting his first ever pole position and then converting it at turn 1 into a lead. Brock Gilchrist and the rest of the pack chasing him down as everybody got a clean start. In terms of the championship contenders, there was work to do for Simon Evans, who qualified all the way down in 9th, but was fast and furious in these opening laps to get up to 4th early on. Meanwhile, Hugo Allen, Brock Gilchrist and championship contender Rowan Shepherd were all in pursuit. There were some few hairy moments on the exit of the fast right-hander, but everybody gathered together, and as you can see, Simon Evans, although he had 3 hard-charging youngsters behind him, managed to get up to 4th place by the end of the first lap. A good battle from Dion Pitt and Hugo Allen side by side coming into the complex as they went in pursuit of Ronan Murphy, and just behind them in their battle was Justin Allen in the Napa 99. Allen, also one of the championship contenders, was hoping that he could stay ahead of both Evans and Shepherd, but he found himself in a battle with 3 cars and getting damaged, and worse was to come. The youngsters like Allen going wide here were taking risks that Allen couldn't afford to make. Dion Pitt made his presence felt. Allen tried to battle back but came off worst and ended up in the gravel and damaged his suspension, and that would lead him to an early finish, and not what he needed for his championship at all. Meanwhile, at the front, Zach Stitchbury was putting on a show here, buoyed by his pole position. Everybody else was just trying to make up positions. Marco Giltrap trying to defend from Matt McCutcheon, and of course Todd Prujon in the 74. Out goes Justin Allen, and for the flag and for the win, the Armstrong-sponsored Mackenzie Motorsport 20-year-old Zach Stitchbury takes his first win in the 86 Championship. Brock Gilchrist takes 2nd place. Rowan Shepherd crossed the line in 3rd, but would have to give that back after a 5-second penalty dropped him to 5th, giving Simon Evans the podium in 3rd. Race 2, top 10 reverse, and that meant Marco Giltrap and Matt McCutcheon battling it out for the lead into the first corner. Brock Gilchrist getting turned around, Ronan Murphy involved in that, but Gilchrist in the number 10 stuck at the back. He would get back on track, but would have a lot of work to do from there. Race 2 in the 86 Championship is always a lively affair with the reverse grid, including some damage to some cars. Dion Pitt and Hugo Allen resumed their battle, but Marco Giltrap, perhaps inspired by what he'd seen in the previous race, was in the mood for his own first win. McCutcheon trying to hold off Hugo Allen, side by side out of the hairpin. McCutcheon at this time holding on to 2nd place, but back came Hugo Allen at the complex, and again McCutcheon had to do some very, very good defending. The championship contenders found themselves side by side with Rowan Shepherd in the number 1. Champion going round the outside of Evans and making it stick. Nicely done. He just needs to stay ahead of Evans for the remaining races, and the title will be his. Hugo Allen makes a move on McCutcheon, and although it took 2 corners, he did make it stick. Meanwhile, Marco Giltrap was gone. Hugo Allen in 2nd, McCutcheon fighting it out for 3rd. And race 1 winner, number 72, Zach Stitchbury, trying to get amongst the podium places. As we came to the business end of the race, Giltrap was building on that lead. Trouble at the back for the 14, Finn Osborne, as he gets spun round. But he does keep it going and gets back on track, but he's passed by several other cars. Finn Osborne in his first championship. Also problems for Todd Prujon. Where did he see, I wonder? Well, he kept going. And so too did Marco Giltrap to take his first ever victory in the championship ahead of Hugo Allen, Dion Pitt just pipping McCutcheon to the podium. The final race of the penultimate round at Taupo was a good one. At the start, Hugo Allen away to the front. Good start also by Ronan Murphy. And into the first corner, Marco Giltrap tries to go around the outside, but Hugo Allen keeps his foot in and takes the lead. Sadly, championship contender at the beginning of the weekend, Justin Allen would start from the pit lane with a lot of work to do after that damaged suspension season. Number 91, Ronan Murphy, showing good speed here against Marco Giltrap. But Giltrap, buoyed by his first win, was not giving in easily. And back came Marco. Certainly Simon Evans' tutorage is helping out. Rowan Shepherd, though, wanting to join the battle and did so. And just behind them, Matt McCutcheon was also in the hunt. Hugo Allen in the number 23 was flying out front. Look at the gap he's built here for the Heart of Racing team. Meanwhile, Ronan Murphy in second place and Marco Giltrap trying desperately to hang on to third place. And if he could do that, he might get himself into a mathematical chance of winning the title in the final round at Hampton Downs. But there was battles aplenty. Dion Pitt in a great battle here with Brock Gilchrist, who got turned around in race 2. They were just behind McCutcheon. Meanwhile, Zach Stitchbury, winner of race 1, was making good ground on Brock Gilchrist. A nice switch back here to get ahead of the Corvette's car, but back came the number 10 immediately. Some really good racecraft being shown here in the penultimate round, which is as we expect in the 86 Championship. Every year it seems to get better as the championship goes on. A really good battle also here between Dion Pitt and Matt McCutcheon as they drag race down the back straight. And again, McCutcheon and Zach Stitchbury getting into it at the final turn, but no one was going to stop Hugo Allen as he came out of the last corner. The Heart of Racing man in the number 23 takes his first win of the series. Ronan Murphy takes second place, and Marco Giltrap puts himself into the championship hunt, just holding off Rowan Shepherd, who gets the advantage over Simon Evans over the weekend.
Coming up, a classic win for Toyota on the stages of the Ineos Otago Rally, and WRC heads to the tarmac stages of Croatia. Welcome back to Toyota GAZOO Racing Hour. Now, Dean Bewers took a borrowed Toyota Celica to Group B victory in the Ineos Otago Classic Rally last weekend. It was a tough battle though with escort driver Jeff Judd, but still great to see a classic Toyota back in action. But today also marks the start of the WRC Rally Croatia, and as always, the Toyota GAZOO World Rally team have been testing ahead of the event.
Sure, it's always really feels good on tarmac. The car is really reactive and behaving well, and even we had a Monte Carlo, but which is very different kind of condition. So this is like a more pure tarmac rally. So I feel very comfortable with the car already in the beginning, and for sure the guys did a very good step and developed a lot. So I feel very good.
On this surface, you really understand how much extra power you have with the hybrid boost, and how impressive the acceleration actually is. It is, it is really like a huge kick coming, and on the wide road is fine, but on the small road, sometimes a bit too much. At least in the beginning of the test day, it feels a bit crazy, but yeah, maybe first time ever on this sport that I don't need to ask more power. I'm pretty satisfied what we have.
its boost making quite huge difference. So when you have a boost, you have a like so much power. I cannot compare. I cannot like make any, for example, but just it's so much power. So sometimes it's making a bit difficult to drive, but still car is behaving well and very comfortable. So it's very nice.
I believe guys did already a good job in Monte Carlo to how to deploy the power on tarmac. We've done some adjustments after that, and I believe we have gone to the right direction. But to be honest, I haven't even driven the maps what the guys used in Monte Carlo. So for me, it feels logical, and I'm sure we are on the right way.
For me, I'm trying to do my best for sure. It's very demanding rally. Anything can happen, and it's so difficult to guess what's gonna happen on the condition and things. Never easy. So my plan is to get a good feeling and good rhythm in the beginning, and to get stepping up to the, try to push at the end, but no over the limit. I mean, still now important to get good feeling with a car and with a team and everything. So I still need to take big step, but if I finish the rally without any mistake or without any moment, then it's gonna be quite good result. So this is a plan.
It's always nice to be inside of the car and to have such a new rally. I mean, I was not here last year, so it's always a pleasure to discover a new country. First of all, I've never been before, even in Croatia. I watched the onboards from last year, so it looks pretty challenging, and a lot of crests, a lot of dirt on the roads, pretty narrow ones and some wide ones as well. So looks interesting combination. Pretty excited, to be honest. It's second event for us this year, and yeah, we are sharing the car together with Seb, and we have had some let's say discussions what we will do later on. We are, let's say, having a clear understanding what we are going to do. You will know sooner or later. I want to be better on this, and I want to perform well. I want to be on the fights, to be, let's say, to have a clean rally, and I'm sure we can do it. At the moment, the car feels very good, actually. So I think we need to somehow forget what happened in Sweden. I mean, definitely I need to take the self-confidence from there. But in the other hand, I need to understand that Sweden was, let's say, a rally which I know, well, it was a new rally for everyone, but the conditions was something what I know, where I'm good at. And now we are completely on the other side. So I cannot probably set as high targets as I had in Sweden, but still I'm not denying them. I mean, I want to give a chance to myself to perform well, and yeah, I don't want to give up already before the start. I'm really looking forward what we can actually do.
I cannot wait to see those cars here in New Zealand for the WRC starting September 29. Now, of course, we do have our own version of the Yaris rally car already on our stages, although it's an AP4 Yaris being run by young up-and-coming driver Jack Hawkswood.
It's a Toyota Yaris AP4 car that was built by Force Motorsport about 5 years ago. It's had a couple of owners in its life, but we've picked it up off the last owner and given it a big birthday, and hopefully it's ready to go for the year now. Back in 2015, there was sort of no future really happening in rallying in New Zealand. It was sort of that ran your, your Evos and that sort of stuff, where you go and you spend $500,000 on an R5 car, and there's sort of no in between that old and that new. So Dad felt that there was something that needed to be done, so we designed a car from the ground up to match the R5 at a fraction of the price, and it did pretty well in doing that. So far we've done 18 AP4 cars. Most of them are here in New Zealand, a few of them are overseas though. I was driving the Mazda before this, and the main difference is just the wheelbase, but apart from that, it's essentially the same. All the AP4 cars, they run the same gearbox and drivetrain and suspension points and stuff like that, trying to make them pretty much exactly the same. We were trying to get Mazda to get involved for the WRC, and we've got this awesome stage here that they could really get involved with, but they didn't want to come to the party, and we just ordered some new fleet utes, and Dad and I were leaning over the front of a new Hilux, and we're like, I wonder if we should just give these guys a call. And so we rang up Amanda, and yeah, no, it's been she was pretty good from the start, and that's sort of where it all started from. Well, I really want to head to America. I think just sort of the way that like a lot of the media outposts and stuff over there are building up the ARA over there. I think it's going to take off in the next few years, and I think that's sort of where I want to head. A good friend of mine, Paul Falloon, he sort of said that Toyota's more about, you know, you hear a lot about these guys, and especially like the likes of Liam Lawson, like no one really had heard about him until, you know, he got to Formula 2. But I think a lot of what Toyota does here in New Zealand, and what's really good about them, is that they get your name out there and they get you known before you end up on the international stage and everyone hears about you, so that when you show up somewhere they go, oh, that's that kid from New Zealand. This Yaris that we've got now is it's just a stepping stone. We needed a Toyota, obviously, to race for Toyota, so and that car was available, so we just picked that up. But the plan is that we'll be building a AP4 GR Yaris to race in Rally New Zealand. Completely different car again. That'll still have all the suspension points, same gearbox, but obviously it'll be running the 3-cylinder engine, which will be a bit of a learning curve for us. But aside from that, it should be fairly the same, and it's going to look a whole lot cooler. I think we just need to finish. We're just trying to finish every rally and finish every stage this year, and just try and be super consistent and just keep bagging the points, and then just hopefully it all lines up good for Rally New Zealand at the end of the year, and we'll be able to get a good placing. We're fortunate enough here to have 400 acres at Jack's Ridge here, and I think me and Dad would rather see that get turned into a rally stage than just be farmland. So 3 years ago, when the WRC was originally supposed to come to New Zealand, we built 6.5 k's of awesome rally stage here on the farm, and unfortunately the WRC got cancelled, but we spun that around by doing a bit of a showcase, a bit of a rally show here called the Battle of Jack's Ridge. And you know, for people who saw it, the full stage is actually double the length of what was used in the Jack's Ridge. So yeah, so for the WRC coming back this year, it's going to be awesome to see all the spectators out on the farm there. So Jack's Ridge was, I've been claiming it's been named after me, and I've kind of had that as my one claim to fame, but Mum's told me that it was named after my great-granddad. Kind of cool to have a 6.5 k's of just the coolest road you'll find in the country, right at your back doorstep. It was, you know, built by rally drivers for rally drivers, so you couldn't get anything better. I work for Dad in doing earth moving work here on that. We have a clean fill that we have here on the farm as well. So I do have a lot of involvement there, and I spend most of my time around here working in the clean fill. I drive diggers.
Coming up, Emirates Team New Zealand debut their chase boat, and we check out the technology that powers it into the future. Toyota New Zealand have been a long-time sponsor of Emirates Team New Zealand, so when the team decided to build a new chase boat, they turned to Toyota for new green energy to power it.
Yeah, what a great way to start the year. You know, it's welcome to the Emirates Team New Zealand base. It's a milestone day for us today as we launch the first hydrogen chase boat in the world here in New Zealand. It's been built by Kiwis, it's been built by a technology company based in New Zealand, and a whole bunch of partners that have made today even possible. Yeah, quite an exciting partnership really. Our partnership with Emirates Team New Zealand has really evolved over 30 years from being a corporate partnership to being a technology partnership. So as Emirates Team New Zealand have really pushed the envelope in design and sailing, data, connectivity, it's been areas that have all been in direct alignment with Toyota in New Zealand as well. So it was quite an easy decision, again, to partner with the team, specifically in the area of hydrogen. We share a common vision that you know, renewable energy and a hydrogen economy in New Zealand has really huge benefits to the country in our exploration of different alternatives, and this is one of them. So we see this boat as a a catalyst for accelerating hydrogen initiatives in New Zealand as we drive towards a net zero outcome by 2050 or sooner, whether it be in our operations or our overall business. So, we were asked by Dolts to be a part of this project and what our thoughts were, and we picked up the phone and called Toyota Japan and said, could you provide us with a couple of your concept fuel cell units? And so 2 of probably the first handful of concept units built in the world are in this chase boat today, and we're really proud of that. We firmly believe that there's a strong hydrogen economy opportunity in New Zealand, whether it be for domestic use and heavy freight or whether it be export opportunity. But hydrogen generation and also hydrogen distribution in New Zealand are going to be major players in our economy over the next decade plus. So this project for us is a catalyst to not just accelerate our battery electric vehicle roadmap in New Zealand, but for us it's also about exploring other initiatives outside the car industry. So we're looking at how can we use fuel cells for chase boats, how could we use fuel cells for hydrogen buses, hydrogen generators, other hydrogen initiatives that many other companies are considering in New Zealand today. So we're not saying that we're going to be a one-stop shop for this technology, because like in this project, it's taken a number of companies to come together to produce something like this, and that's what we see moving forward in New Zealand.
The Toyota 86 Championship has again come down to the wire, and once again it's Simon Evans and Rowan Shepherd who lead the charge. But after a great weekend in Taupo, Marco Giltrap has joined the chase.
Simon, you've played a strong role with getting Marco up to speed and helping him learn your experience of racing cars and so on. And Marco spent a lot of time talking about how important that's been to him. But you've done too good a job. Will you work together now, or how does it play out?
It just like any other weekend, really. It's just going to be race by race. I feel. It's a credit to the team and our full team that we've got both cars second and third, but both capable to win the championship. So our number one priority is to make sure at least one of us win. So take it race by race. Obviously see how qualifying goes, then see how first race goes, and then just analyse it from there. At the end of the day, if I can't win it, I definitely want this guy to be winning it. But it's a really, really tricky situation. And, it just shows this season's been really tough. Broad, Justin Allen was right in the mix at Taupo, and he just had absolute, and a lot of it wasn't even his doing. He had a lot of a real shocker, but that can happen to anyone. That can happen to Marco and myself, or could easily happen to Rowan. So we've just got to punch on, just deliver the best results we can for race 1, and then really analyse there for race 2.
And Marco, is there anything you would point out that you have improved on within the team and within your own racecraft that, again, has put you in a position where not only are you winning races, but you're being consistent and at the front?
Yeah, well, I think it being my second season also helps a lot. I mean, in my first season, we were pretty solid, but a lot of it was just learning. And this season, I've been able to put it all into practice, so it's been awesome having Simon. And we're just going to do everything we can in the last round.
Who do you really see, given the form guide and given we had 3 different winners from Taupo, as being the main people that will stop you from winning the title?
The whole field knows Hampton Downs like the back of their hands in these cars. So I wouldn't be surprised if even someone else who we haven't seen previously might pop up into that top 3, top 5. But it's looking back at the form guide from the last round that we had there, I got pole by a good little margin, and then I was leading the last race and I had an ABS failure. It wasn't due to contact; it just failed while I was leading, so that was a bit disappointing. And then also in the reverse grid race, I had coils fail in the race when I went from like 8th to 4th by the end of the second lap. So I'm confident that we should have our car speed there, but I there's no doubt that anyone with a combination of this track and car should be up there.
As I said before, definitely Hugo Allen. He's about 50 points behind me in the championship, and anything can happen. At Taupo, he was very quick, and I struggled to hold him off in that second race. So I think we'll just have to focus on being as consistent as possible and minimising any mistakes. And definitely if we have the pace to push for wins, or if not podiums.
What would it mean if you could win this?
Oh, it'd be awesome. I mean, it would give me an experience overseas that would probably be invaluable. I mean, not many people get to test a supercar at 18 years old, so if I could win this, it would be great. I would definitely like to be watching as a spectator, but I am racing it, so I'll just do everything I can.
Well, best of luck. May the best man win.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
And a full program of racing this weekend at Hampton Downs, both tomorrow and on Sunday. Coming up, we take the GR Supra to Taupo to sample this affordable supercar on the road and track.
Hi, I'm Christina All-West. I'm from Whakatane and I'm 21. I always was a firm single-seater girl. Obviously, yeah, I started in V's, Formula Fords, TRS, which used to be Formula Toyota, and then I went over to Australia and did Formula Holden. Then, yeah, I went to Indy Lights. It wasn't until I came back from Indy Lights and realised there was nothing really, other than if I stayed in America, which was just too expensive, I had to go the tin top way. I did it rather, and then after I had my kids, it was the really only option, because even though it can fit in a single seater, I haven't gone that step yet again.
I'm Rihanna O'Meara Hunt. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Wellington. It started when I was 8 years old. I've gone through all the ranks, so cadet to seniors. My biggest achievement was when I was 15. I won the Australian Rotax Pro Tour and was the first junior woman ever to do that and to win a state title. Making history for women was awesome, and I hope to do more. There was always a little bit of a desire to go to car racing. I wasn't sure if I could or not, and then this opportunity with the harder racing and international motorsport came up and just jumped at the bit, and yeah, we went away and here we are.
But there's somebody else that's having a bit of a charge there. Just 18-year-old Christina Orr, the only girl in the race.
It was very hard at the beginning. You know, I did have fathers waiting at the gate for me, telling me to, Nigel, turn around and why bother. Been ripped out of my car, I've had champagne stolen off of me on the podium, saying I didn't deserve it. So to come now tenfold to the amazing motorsport is now for women in any, you know, category. It's amazing how far the sport has actually come, recognising that it's anyone's sport. I tested in '86 before I went to Sanyong. Prices was just a little bit out of my league at that point because I didn't have my amazing sponsor at that point. But it was just the close racing. I've been watching it everywhere I went, and it looked like fun. And then I got my bum in it, and yeah, it really was. They're a very unique car. They're a lot different to what I was expecting them to be, but they have a craft about them, and I'm slowly getting there.
Harder Racing is a racing family, a team. They raise awareness for cancer, like the Starship Foundation, the Seattle's Children's Hospital. I'm really looking forward to going to the Starship Foundation or doing little videos here at the track for the kids, just to put a smile on their face for the day and make a difference. This is like my stepping stone, so this is my first year in cars. This is my learning year, which I need to remember. It's always hard to put your drive behind you and focus on what you actually need to do and achieve. So yeah, this year we're going to be learning and improving and just slowly getting up to pace.
I'm still learning. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I do. I learned something about myself, about just racecraft. It was quite funny, just that safety car, just watching all the young ones just, you know, go hell for leather, and I was like, wow, you know, like they said it's a simulation and they were just, you know, on the go. So it's, yeah, I quite like watching the new up and coming talent, and now that there's more girls, it's even better.
International Motorsport, they obviously know how to run a team. They've been doing it for so many years. Looking at all their history is really, really cool. I hope that we can do stuff like that together in the future. But for my learning year, they've been really patient with me, which is awesome. They just want to see me improve, and they want to teach me how they want me to drive. So I'm kind of just like a little kid in a lolly shop learning everything that I need to do. So yeah, they've been amazing.
Deb me go way back, but I never really knew her. She was the clerk of the course at one of my worst ever race meetings of my life. We never really talked or communicated until we got to the CRC Speed Show. And just funnily enough, we were sitting on the back of my ute, and I just made the cheeky comment about putting Dale ITM on the side, and she goes, well, how much? And I was so taken off guard. I was like, oh, and try to think of a number, and she's like, no, that's not good enough, that's not high enough. Like, so she actually sold me the sponsorship. So, and then by then we become friends, and then it's basically like family. I injured myself. When I say myself, I had a helping hand from my sister car, who was driven by the lovely Ronan Murphy. God bless his little soul. He felt so guilty about it. It was a complete and utter accident. He just was passing another car, overshot, and T-boned me. Unfortunately, I didn't see it coming.
Oh, bit of contact there between the teammates.
Well, there's Murphy's Law, but there's Murphy being a little bit too clever there.
It's been a bit of a jump. It's obviously a massive learning curve for me, as well as just learning how to drive the car. I'd love to go to America and race with the Harder Racing over there in their GT3 series, so I think that's a long-term goal, and we'll just focus on this for now.
I'm hoping for top 3 regularly, but like just watching the amazing talent and how fast everyone is, and it's so close. You know, top 10, if I can stay in that top 10 and just stay out of trouble, keep the car looking pristine, I think I'll be pretty stoked.
Yeah, very competitive, so it's very hard to bite my tongue sometimes and accept that I need to just slow down a bit in myself.
I've had an amazing life in motorsport, and it's only getting better.
The Toyota Supra has its roots all the way back to 1969, when Toyota released the stunning 2000 GT. What a car. Well, now the latest GR Supra is on New Zealand roads. So we sent Andrew Waite to Taupo with one question. Is this a track car for the road or a road car for the track?
Welcome to Taupo, Lakeside here with the Toyota Supra. What better place to check out a car like this with the beautiful roads in this part of the world? Let's have a look inside. The black and the red interior really gives it a sporty look, and it even matches the GR colour scheme. As soon as you get inside the car, you really feel at home. The way you sit down into the seat, it's got the nice supported seats in it as well. The way the steering wheel is, the pedals, it just feels right. Also, the different modes as well. It's got the sport mode, which allows you to adjust the damping, the steering, engine and transmission, so you can dial them up to really get the most out of the car. Under the bonnet, we have the straight 6 turbo engine. Does that sound familiar? The original Supra also has a straight 6 engine, but this is obviously ultra modern and it produces power like you wouldn't believe. There are so many unique design features about this car. One of the ones that really stand out to me is the way that the bonnet here actually forms part of the guard, which is really cool. It allows the lines across the front here to really stand out. The other one is the headlight. They're massive, they really shape the front of the car. And then how cool is the splitter down the bottom here as well. When the designers were working out how they were going to put the Supra together, they had a look back into the archives, and one car in particular really stands out, the 2000 GT, the car that really put Toyota on the map, and you can really see that the way the roof slopes down here. With all that horsepower, 380 horsepower to be exact, the car's got to stop somehow. So behind this beautiful 19-inch wheel, we have these massive brakes. I can't wait to check out how they stop the car on track. Let's head off for a drive now. The question I've got, is this a grand touring car or a sports car? Straight away though, when you take off, it's so nice and smooth. You can hear it going up through the gears. There's not a lot of road noise. It's just really nice to drive. You can tell I've done really well with the sound deadening in it. There's not a lot of road noise coming out of the car. The bumps as well, it's just really smooth over the bumps. It's just such a quiet car. As you cruise along, it's hard to believe. It is great on track, but also so good on the roads. You don't get a lot of road noise, which is really surprising. And you know, it sits so flat, but it doesn't feel, you don't feel jarring through the steering. It's just all very, very smooth and feels, you know, like a luxury car. I really like the way the seating is as well. The way you sit down and into the car, it just really gives you a nice sporty feel, but it's also at the same time very comfortable. It's just nice and relaxing and a very, very easy car to cruise around the roads in. Another thing that I really like as well is everything feels like it is right there at your fingertips ready to be used. The way the radio system works, the way the screen is, the pedals, you just feel like you want to hold the rear wheel properly here as all the buttons are right here. It just gives it a real sporty sensation. I really like the way the buttons are all placed in this car as well. Everything feels like it's right at your fingertips. You've got the buttons on the steering wheel right there, you've got the pedals, all the controls, the gear stick, everything feels like it's right there. The screen is in a great place as well. It just really feels ergonomically so comfortable. Here we are at Taupo International Motorsport Park. Time to find out what the Supra can really do. So we've had the car out on the road. Now it's time to go and have a bit of fun on the track. I guess you could say we're taking it into its natural habitat here. Straight away, using the pedals. And listen to the sound. As soon as you put your foot down, you can feel the power. Up over the curves. It sits so flat, just how nicely it sits to the road. You can feel everything through the steering. Just the way it hangs on. Then we're back on the brakes again. Off the brake. On the gas on the exit. Hard onto the gas. I really like the way the seats hold you in. Makes it that much easier to feel everything going on underneath. Even through the high speed stuff, the car's sitting super flat through here. Back on the brake through the fastest corner. Here on the track, and then we're back on the gas again. So going up through the gears, hardest braking zone here. You can just feel everything so nicely through the brake pedal. Turning the car in, back on the gas. I could spend all day in this car doing laps. It is just so much fun. You feel so at one with the car, the way you sit back into the seat, the steering, everything about it. Wow, what a car. The Supra, the name, we all know it. It's in its DNA to be used on the track. So much fun. I just can't believe I've had the chance to get out here and use it.
Coming up, we meet the latest car in the GR garage and a rookie driver looking to have fun on the track. Welcome back. Yes, the treats keep coming out of Toyota's GR stable. The Corolla GR, an instant hit in the USA where the Yaris GR is not sold. Now, we can only imagine how much fun it will be when it lands in New Zealand. Hopefully wait for it before the end of the year. Our final profile for the season is rookie Will Morton from Auckland, who grew up in motorsport watching his dad racing in the Porsche GT3 Cup Series.
I'm Will Morton from Auckland and I'm 19 years old. Well, I did go-karting when I was very young, about probably 5, and sort of didn't really ever fall in love with it, but always preferred the car stuff. So I thought, GT86 is probably the best way to get into it and hopefully make something of myself in it. Todd and Ian, really good set of guys. They know their stuff, and I trust them. I trust them a lot with the whole thing, and good laugh, and we can all get along. I think my big challenges this year are going to be trying to learn all the tracks and stuff in preparation for the future. Trying as hard as I can, but not going crazy to the point that I wreck a car or anything. That's the last thing I want, or have any injuries or anything. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, the amount of cars on the field, that's for sure. But at the starts, but once it sort of spans out, it should be all right. I think it's really going to be see how I go this year, and then I work our way up. Probably do this a couple of years if I do really like it and catch on to it, which I'm hoping I will. GT3 would definitely be a fun thing to do. That would definitely be cool. That's probably where I'd want to end up if I was doing more, maybe even TRS. That does look quite good as well. But having a teammate like Brock Gilchrist, we'll be in the pit lane together, and we can bounce sort of memos off each other about what to and what not to do, especially me coming in fresh, and he's got years of experience. Someone like, he's going to be very beneficial to me. I can sort of ask him for pointers, new tracks and all that sort of thing. He's just going to be good support to have around, and real good guy, and we get along, so.
Well, thanks for joining us on the Toyota GAZOO Racing Hour. We're taking a break for a wee while, but we'll return later this year as we build up to WRC Rally New Zealand and the Castrol Toyota Racing Series. I'm Sean Summerfield. Good night.